Okay, New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 102, provides that the New York State Gaming Commission shall consist of 7 members appointed by the governor by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. 4 members confirmed by the New York State Senate are necessary to afford the commission an ability to establish a quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the commission is now called to order at 1:07.
Hello?
Ms. Secretary, please call the roll.
John Crotty,
Here.
Peter Machete,
Hello?
John Baklemba,
Here.
Barry Sample,
Here.
Jerry Skurnick,
Here.
Todd Snyder.
Ms. Secretary, please have the record reflect that a quorum of qualified members are present, thus enabling transaction of business.
Minutes of the Commission's meeting conducted on June 26, 2017 have been provided to the members in advance. At this time, I'd like to ask members if there are any edits, corrections, or amendments.
None.
Do I have a motion to approve the minute?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we will have the report of the acting executive director.
This afternoon, I'd like to discuss the development status of Resorts World Catskill, the lone commercial casino project remaining under development, and highlight the upcoming harness racing events taking place at Yonkers Raceway. Resorts World Catskill reports that they have recently completed concrete slabs for the podium, electrical gear pre-purchase, and HVAC major equipment pre-purchase. They further report that they are now over 90% complete for spray fireproofing, custom carpet material, roofing, and the exterior shell for the west podium and hotel, with surface and site paving almost 90% complete. Overall construction is 73% complete as of the end of August. Finally, Resorts World Catskill reports that during the month of August, they expended over 126,111 union construction hours on the work site. Yonkers Raceway. On October 14th, Yonkers Raceway will be hosting 8 New York Sire State finals during an afternoon card. Each of the finals will distribute a $225,000 purse. Overall, the New York Day of Champions is valued at $1.8 million. In addition to the Sire Stakes finals, Yonkers is also conducting the $1 million International Trot. It is expected that horses from France, Finland, Italy, Sweden, Denmark, and the United States will be competing. Last year's winner, Resolve, is expected to defend his title. During last year's event, Resolve set a world record for the distance of 1.25 miles. Yonkers is also hosting a pair of $250,000 international races, meaning the overall value of the day's program is $3.3 million, the richest day of purchase for Yonkers in over 100-year history. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to rulemaking. New York State Parimutuel Wagering and Breeders' Law authorizes the Commission to promulgate rules and regulations that it deems necessary to carry out its responsibilities. To that regard, the Commission will from time to time promulgate rules and rule amendments pursuant to the New York State Administrative Procedure Act. We have 2 items for consideration today. Ron, will you please outline the first of these items?
Yes, Chairman. For Commission consideration is the adoption of a rule regarding the lottery's Mega Millions game. As you are aware, the New York Lottery is a member of a consortium of state and territorial lotteries throughout the United States, which operate the Mega Millions and Powerball games. The multi-state consortium has resolved to modify the Mega Millions games matrix, which set forth win probabilities and prizes to be effective nationwide for the drawing on October 31st, 2017. Should the Commission choose not to adopt the consortium's rule changes, the New York Lottery would be required to eliminate Mega Millions from its game portfolio. The most significant of the proposed rule changes is the cost of the ticket, which will increase from $1 to $2. Other rule changes approved by the consortium are intended to create larger jackpot amounts. This will be accomplished by decreasing the size of the first set of numbers from which a player chooses from 75 to 70, while increasing the size of the second set of numbers from 15 to 25. The consortium also changed prize payouts for non-jackpot prizes. Third prizes will increase from $5,000 to $10,000. Fifth prize will increase from $50 to $200. Sixth and seventh prize will increase from $5 to $10. Eighth prize will increase from $2 to $4. And a ninth prize will increase from $1 to $2. The text of the proposed rule was published in the State Register on August 9, 2017, meaning the public comment period expires at the close of business today. To date, no public comments have been received. Staff recommends that the Commission adopt this proposed rulemaking as a permanent rule. In the event comments are received before the close of business, staff will promptly inform each Commissioner.
Commissioners, any questions on the adoption of a rule regarding amendments to the operation of Mega Millions, subject to any receipt of substantial comments before the close of business today? Any comments, discussions? May I have a motion to adopt the rule?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ron, next item, please.
For Commission consideration is an amendment to the existing thoroughbred regulations to adjust the timing when permissible treatment may be provided to a horse. This proposed rule, which has been endorsed by the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, would allow latter permissible treatment of horses on race days when scheduled post times are earlier. The change would be consistent with the Commission's medication rules 24 hours prior to post time rather than 24 hours prior to the start of a racing program, not compromise the integrity of racing, and would be in the best interest of the equine athlete. Staff recommends that the Commission authorize the proposal of this rulemaking.
Commissioners, any questions on the proposal of an amendment to the existing thoroughbred therapy prohibitions rule?
What's necessitating this change?
Rick?
I believe Dr. Palmer's on the phone. He's more familiar with this.
Is Dr. Palmer on the phone?
Dr.
Yes, I'm on the phone, but I can't hear very well. The microphone is not in a good spot.
Let me just say that the question was what precipitated the request by the thoroughbred horsemen to change the time of administration restriction on the ultrasound and other electromagnetic.
We have them here if they would want to comment.
Okay?
The reason why the horsemen approached me about making this amendment change the rule
Dr. Palmer.
was, can you hear me okay?
We have them here.
Well, let him answer, then they can answer.
Go ahead, Dr.
Rick, can
Palmer.
you hear me?
Go ahead,
Yes.
Dr. Palmer.
Okay, the reason the horsemen would like to see this rule change is primarily related to the evolution of the racing festival concept, where we have days of racing with 11 or more races in it. The post times are moved up to from what they usually are. And for example, during the Belmont Stakes, we had a post time that was, I think it was around 11:30 was the first race. But the way the rule is written, for those days when you have the early post times, it makes it very difficult to get these treatments done in time. So it puts a hardship on the horseman to get this accomplished before the post time or the start of the racing day. On a regular race day, it's not so much of a big deal, but it is a big inconvenience in terms of trying to get these treatments done early enough. You have to understand that these devices that are used, these electromagnetic therapy machines, are very expensive, and they are operated by technicians, and there are only so many of them around. It's not as though they are readily available in large numbers to be used at the same time. So people have to move from stable to stable to do these treatments, and it is a hardship. And so that was the motivation to also, I think, there was some discussion about, from a philosophic standpoint, we regulate our medication by post time, and that there's no apparent clear indication that this type of therapy should be regulated in a different time frame than the medication therapy is regulated.
Thank you. Did you want to comment?
Yeah, that's exactly what, we communicated with Dr. Palmer about that, and that was exactly our reasoning.
Any other comments? May I have a motion to the proposed rule?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of scheduled business regards adjudications. Today we have six announcements and 3 items for adjudication. Ron?
As a point of explanation, the Commission traditionally has announced final adjudication decisions publicly. The first 5 items today regard matters considered by the Commission at a meeting conducted pursuant to judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, and whose final decision has already been declared to the appellant. The first matter, in the matter of Jeffrey Bagley. On March 8, 2017, the Bureau of Licensing denied the application of Jeffrey Bagley for a temporary gaming employee registration in connection with potential employment as an environmental services attendant at Rivers Casino and Resort in Schenectady, citing Commission Rule 5305.2C, which refers to standards set forth in New York Racing Pari-Mutuel Wagering Breeding Law, Section 1318. Mr. Bagley requested a hearing which was scheduled for June 7, 2017. The applicant failed to appear then or at the adjourned hearing date of June 21, 2017. The hearing officer submitted a report dated July 16, 2017, recommending that the denial of Mr. Bagley's application be upheld. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 5-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Betty Szynski, on July 7, 2017, the Bureau of Licensing denied the application of Betty A. Szynski for a license to participate in thoroughbred horse racing as a stable employee due to her failure to disclose a criminal history in connection with her application, finding that her experience, character, and general fitness of the applicant are such that the participation of such person will be consistent with the public interest, convenience, or necessity, and with the best interests of racing generally. The applicant requested a hearing which was conducted on August 2, 2017. The hearing officer submitted a report dated August 17, 2017, recommending that the denial of Ms. Szynski's license application be upheld. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 5-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Kimberly Morales, on April 10, 2017, the Bureau of Licensing denied the application of Kimberly Morales for a temporary gaming employee registration in connection with potential employment as a cage cashier at Rivers Casino and Resort in Schenectady, citing Commission Rule 5305.2C, which refers to the standards set forth in New York Racing Pari-Mutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 1318. Ms. Morales requested a hearing which was scheduled for June 7, 2017. The applicant failed to appear then or at an adjourned hearing date of June 21, 2017. The hearing officer submitted a report dated July 16, 2017, recommending that the denial of Ms. Morales' application be upheld. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceeding exemption of New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon the 5-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Lolita Shimigal, on February 11, 2017, the State Steward issued a notice of violation to Lolita Shimigal, suspending her for 30 days for violation of Commission Rules 4002.2 and 4038.1A in connection with the claim of the thoroughbred horse swivel at Belmont Park on June 18, 2016. Ms. Shimigal requested a hearing which stayed the suspension. The hearing was conducted on March 29th and June 6, 2017. The hearing officer found that the charges were not established and recommended that the suspension be reversed. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 5-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Michael Sinclair, on June 16, 2017, the Commission issued a summary suspension of standardbred trainer Michael J. Sinclair for cruel mistreatment of a horse. The summary suspension cited laws and rules concerning cruelty to a horse racing at a meeting, general character and fitness, and conduct detrimental to the best interests of racing or injurious to the character of the turf. The hearing was conducted on June 27th and 28th. The hearing officer's final report and recommendations were delivered to the Commission Secretary on July 12, 2017. The hearing officer found that Mr. Sinclair violated Commission Rules 4105.8C, 4119.7B, and 4119.9A, and recommended that Mr. Sinclair's license be suspended for 2 years. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemptions of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 6-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Stephen Foster, on May 18, 2017, the Commission issued a notice of hearing to determine whether the license of racing official Stephen S. Foster should be suspended or revoked and whether he should be fined. The notice of hearing charged Mr. Foster with unlawfully allowing another person access to NYRA's computer system, unlawfully aiding the crime of computer trespass, unlawfully accepting bribes to allow another to gain access to NYRA computer system, engaging in a conspiracy to commit the crime of computer trespass, failing to report a bribe, and engaging in improper, corrupt, or fraudulent acts or practices in connection with racing. Mr. Foster requested a hearing which was conducted on June 20th, 2017. The hearing officer submitted a report dated August 6, 2017, recommending that the charge of engaging in improper practices in connection with racing in violation of Rule 4042.1F was proven, but that the other 5 charges were not proven. The hearing officer recommended that the applicant's license be suspended for 6 months and that he be fined $1,000. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined in a 5-0 vote to modify the hearing officer's recommendations and voted to revoke his license for a period of 10 years and has for a period of 10 years before he is eligible to reapply for his license. The fine of $1,000 is sustained. Is that clear enough? Okay.
In the matter of James H. Islam, on December 11th, the state stewards issued a notice of a 30-day suspension and a fine of $1,500 to thoroughbred trainer James Islam following notification from the New York Equine Drug Testing and Research Program of the finding of metacarbamol and glutathione in the body fluid sample taken from the horse Rahi's Bandit, which ran in the 4th race at Belmont Park on June 12, 2016. Further, the horse was disqualified from any part of the purse. Mr. Islam requested a hearing which stayed the suspension and fine. A hearing was conducted on June 28, 2017. The hearing officer submitted a report dated August 30th, 2017, recommending that the applicant's suspension and fine and the disqualification of the horse be upheld. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the quasi-judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 5-0 vote to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
In the matter of Brian Whitley, on May 23, 2017, the Bureau of Licensing denied the application of Brian Whitley for a video lottery non-key gaming license to enable him to perform as a technician for Scientific Games, a gaming device vendor at Resorts World, New York. The denial was predicated on his failure to disclose criminal history in connection with his application. The denial cited Commission Rule 5102.14, which sets forth standards for denial of a video lottery gaming license. Mr. Whitley requested a hearing which was scheduled for August 2, 2017. The applicant failed to appear. The hearing officer submitted a report dated August 14, 2017, recommending that the denial of Mr. Whitley's application be upheld. The Commission considered this matter at a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law 108.1.
The Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a 5-0 vote to accept the hearing officer's report and recommendations. The next item is old business. Do we have any old business at all? Okay. Hearing none, new business? Anyone have any new business? Okay, and I guess the next issue is scheduling of our next meeting. I have tentatively October 23rd. If everyone could check their calendars, and Kristen will be contacting everyone to confirm that date. Okay? We're good? And that concludes our agenda for the day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
Well done.
Yeah.
First one.